Josh here, and welcome back to Friends Between Pages.
I'm Karen. Before anything else, we would just like to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to our channel and for giving our previous videos the thumbs up. For today's episode, we will be showing you all the books that we sacrifice sleep for.
You know how sometimes you start reading a book and next thing you know it's 5 a.m. and you still haven't slept. You spent all night reading. There are just so many bingeable books, or stay up all night worthy kind of books.
Maybe because they're so good that we couldn't stop reading them, or maybe because we just wanted to be done with them. Let's get into it.
For me, the first book that I'm going to share to you is Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. Last year, I decided to marathon the entire series, and when I got into this book, I wasn't able to put it down. I really stayed up way too late for this one. I swear, this is one of the most amazing books that Sarah has ever written. Actually, this is my favorite book from the series. I love Kale so much. The world building, the characters, it's just so amazing. And I know a lot of people skip this one, but really, honey, you're missing a lot of things. You're missing a lot of... Just do not skip this one. I swear, read this one. Read Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas.
So I'm gonna start with my favorite book. Calculus. Okay, I'm just kidding. Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. Actually, this is just a representative of all the Sarah J. Maas books that we stayed up late for. It's actually a contest between me and my friends, whoever gets to finish Sarah J. Maas books first. And we need to discuss it already, so every time that happens. So, of course, this is like 600 freaking pages. That's why I stayed up late for it. Same as all of her books. That's a problem.
The last book that made me stay up all night reading, it's Fable by Adrian Young. If you watched our book haul video, you know I talked about this and said it's probably one of mine and Karen's favorite books of the year, and like, that's so true. I started reading an arc of this book before going to bed, and then suddenly it's 4 a.m. and I just finished reading it, and I was texting Karen telling her, oh my gosh Karen, I just finished, and it's just, oh my gosh. I've never read anything quite like this book. It's sort of piratey and sort of fantasy-ish and sort of just dark and gritty. The romance, oh my gosh. I cannot. And I think one of the reasons that this one made me stay up late was because there's that sense of urgency in every scene. There's like a dark cloud that's chasing them, and like that just made me want to know more, like made me want to know what happens next, and made me want to reassure myself that these characters are okay, they'll be okay. And then the end happens, and I'm screaming, what is happening? So yeah, Fable.
One of the best first books in a series ever, in my opinion. And I'm talking about The Winner's Curse by Mary Witkowski. This is the first book in the Winner's trilogy, and I read this because of Sophia from the book Basement, and I was so intrigued by the synopsis so much that I wanted to pick it right away, and I did. And I remember reading it on a Friday, and I was so enthralled by the world and the writing so much that it made me finish it until 5 in the morning. I'm proud of that fact because it was so good. The writing is so beautiful. Mary Witkowski is one of my favorite authors because she has a way with words, and this is a fantasy, but it doesn't have the usual magic or like characters who have superpowers to say that it is a fantasy.
So for our next book, we have The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. So you guys, this book special place in my heart. Like, this one is both beautiful and heartbreaking. You are going to stay up late for this book. Like, you can't sleep without knowing what will happen, even if you think you know what will happen. I love this. If you haven't read this one, you should read. So, Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller.
For the next book, it's Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. It's a Coho book, of course. Who wouldn't stay up late for a Coho book? Colleen Hoover, yeah, I think you've watched me love Colleen Hoover and fan over Colleen Hoover. She has this impact. Actually, Heartbones has this different impact on my life. Okay, I'm gonna stop crying and pretending to cry because it might get through.
Next book that I remember staying up all night reading is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. This book is kind of divisive. I know some people totally loved it while others totally hated it, and I'm one of those people who really truly loved it. Once again, this is a recommendation from Karen, and I've been hearing so many things about this book on Twitter and Instagram. And when Karen mentioned it and said that she loved it, I was on it like right away. And then I just couldn't stop flipping the pages until like it's 2 a.m. and I'm still reading. And I used to share a room with my sister, and she got mad that the light's still on because I was still reading. But yeah, this one is entirely bingeable. It's very like tropey YA, and that's just like so fun to read. And the characters are so funny and so fun, and there's just so much angst between Lou and Reed. I loved it. Yeah.
Next up, we have A Little Life by Hanya Nagara. Gosh, I don't know what to say about this book. I finished it in 5 days, and that's quite a record when it comes to this book because look at that. It's so thick. And aside from that, it is deeply twisted, emotionally disturbing, highly graphic, and so painful. I finished it at 4 in the morning, and I remember taking a nap afterwards. Then when I woke up again, I was still feeling so shocked and lost, and I was staring out the window for I can't remember how long, but it took me weeks to move on from this story. I understand why a lot of people love it, but I also understand why a lot of people don't. And I fell in the category of not really loving it, but also not really hating it. So yeah, that's why I keep telling my friends to read this only if they really want to, because it could be very harmful to some readers, especially readers who are going through something in their life. And it's brutal. It's brutal.
For our third and final book, we have Unfiltered by Lily Collins. This is the most recent book that I stayed up late for, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the first autobiography that I read. I really enjoyed reading this book. I was so surprised on how amazing Lily Collins' writing is. Like, it's engaging, comforting, relatable. I mean, she's a huge celebrity, and for some reason I was able to relate to her, and like it's an amazing feeling, and I really love this book. I love Lily Collins, but I loved her more after reading Unfiltered.
Okay, for the last book, I guess, is Three Wives by Taryn Fisher. It's actually me craving for mystery and thriller books, and my god, I have such a polarizing review for that book. I really don't know if I really like it. It's just about three wives. I like the pace, I like the story, I like how she built it up, but don't forget, the book is kind of problematic. It's all over the place, it's so messed up, and yeah, that's it.
The last book that I stayed up all night reading is The Gilded Wolves by Roshan Chokshi. So I could say that The Silvered Serpents do count, but like that one, I took my time reading that one. So I read it from November to April. It's just that it's so good. I wanted to savor it. Meanwhile, this one, the first book, I read it for the first time last year, and I was so excited because the author is half Filipino, half Indian, and I know there is also a Filipino character, half Filipino, half Spanish. Also, he's bisexual, so I was like, I want to read that. And when I did, oh my gosh, it was 5 a.m. I was still reading because there's just something so endearing about these characters, and you just immediately, like, the first time they step on the page, you just want to hug them and you just want to, like, adopt them. And I didn't want anything to happen to them, except that's just not possible. I mean, Roshni Chokshi is kind of cruel when it comes to characters. This book is a great example of that, and there's just so many puzzles and adventures and, like, secrets and the romance. Oh my gosh, the love stories in this book, the relationships of these characters. There's just so many things that will keep you, like, hooked on the page and will keep you flipping until next thing you know, you're at the end and it's 5 a.m. and you're crying. That's what I experienced when reading this book. So yeah, The Gilded Wolves.
Lastly, we have Tiger Lily by Julian Anderson. One of my absolute favorites. I stayed up till 1 a.m. reading this book, and I will never regret staying up late for this book. It's just so heartbreaking and raw and relatable. I was a sobbing mess reading this book. I was crying so hard. I will be forever thankful to Julian Anderson for writing this story. It's a love story between Tiger Lily and Peter Pan, narrated by Tink or Tinkerbell, and a retelling of Neverland. So if you guys are not familiar with Tiger Lily, she's the Indian princess from the original Peter Pan classic. And if you don't know, I am a huge fan of Peter Pan, both the classic and the movies, the Disney adaptations and the live action. So this is like a dream come true for me. I just love the twist, and I just love the emotional baggage that comes with this book. So, and that's it. Thank you guys for watching.
Don't forget to share in the comment section below the books that you stayed up late for.
If you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and also click the bell so that you get notified every time we post a new video.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and like